We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
On the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
No, and I don't think he knows what he said this morning. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. What a debate. Was it a debate? Or did we witness Donald Trump murder an elderly old man with memory issues on live TV? Are there new indictments coming? I saw the headline from the Babylon Bee. Trump posted it last night as well. I couldn't help but piggyback on that. We witnessed a murder. We witnessed a murder.
He's living up to that convicted felon title for sure.
Oh, my gosh. Was Joe Biden really that bad? Yes. Yes. Is this just an exaggeration? No. But to be fair, this is just standard Biden. It's just that everybody knew this time. It was a fun night at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro last night. Shout out to everybody that came out. We have the best audience in America. I've never worked at a radio station with a group of people that support us like you guys do, and we truly, truly appreciate it. My entire family was out there last night. The kids had a blast. They didn't watch the debate. They were playing soccer in the fields at Hop Springs until about 10:30 at night last night, making new friends. My daughter made friends with a sweet girl named Brooklyn, and tons of kids out there. All of our friends were there, and you guys are just the absolute best. We truly, truly appreciate you guys for coming out. And I said it last night. You know, I was joking. I said I don't ever want to watch a debate another way again. I need a live crowd moving forward. Because, it felt like the stereotypical meme of a black movie theater. That's how the debate audience was at Hop Springs. We were hooting, and we were hollering, and we were yelling, and it was the most fun that I've ever had watching a debate.
You sound a little spoiled over there.
It was fantastic. And I watched this debate twice. I watched it in real time with a crowd of people having a blast. And then I watched it quietly, up until I think I was up till 2 a.m. And I was just quietly watching it in my living room. I'm like, I feel bad for anybody that didn't come to Hop Springs.
Just a different experience for sure.
Totally different vibe. We had a blast. Shout out to everybody at Hop Springs. Shout out to our sponsors, the Glock Store, Fatty Matty's Pizza, and everybody that came out. It was a huge crowd.
Good.
Huge crowd.
Nice. That's always good to hear.
And everybody knew that we got standard Biden. I don't think that they put him on any drugs. Murphy said it to me last night. Murphy looks at me and goes, I don't think they gave him anything.
I don't think so either. From all the little snippets I've seen online, I'm fresh, no knowledge of what happened last night for the most part. I've seen little clips online, but nothing crazy. And all of them are Trump looking absolutely normal, like a stoic man, and Biden falling asleep at the stand.
So, Biden's body language looked defeated the entire night. His mouth was agape. It looked pathetic. It looked sad. Low energy. He was stuttering. He was forgetting things. Trump was on point. He answered every question with ease. He pivoted around questions he didn't want to answer with ease. When they brought up the existential threat of climate change, everybody in attendance wanted Trump to say it's a scam. But, spoiler alert, the left also wanted him to say that so that way they could run those clips ad nauseum, right? So he didn't take the bait. Trump didn't take the bait on a lot of questions, which I thought was fantastic. But we all witnessed these Sleepy Joe memes come to life. Every criticism of Biden that you can think of was on display last night. He was rambling about blacks and Charlottesville during unrelated questions and forgetting what to say. He kept looking down. His mouth kept being open. It looked like this old man was drooling on the stage. We can. Biden pushed debunked hoaxes left and right. Very fine people. Suckers and losers. Injecting bleach during COVID. How does this old man take 16 people to Camp David and prepare for a week, probably longer, right? But maybe 2 weeks, and go back to the well with the same old tired hoaxes? He even went for the emotion again with the death of his son, Beau, and it's like, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything anymore. It's become wallpaper. This was, as safe as I can put it, really bleeping bad for Biden. Really bad. He played right into the senile old man framing. But the question becomes, are we witnessing a coup in real time? Did they move up the debate to the earliest date in history to throw Biden under the bus? Is the plan to swap him out? If you watch CNN 2 hours before the debate, this was a strong leader. If you watched CNN 30 seconds after the debate, the ticker said, Democrat operatives say we need to replace Biden. Biden needs to resign. He's got to go. You can't tell me that wasn't planned. You can't tell me. I know. But broke clocks, right? They are right. So I'm convinced. I am. I in my notes, I said I'm almost convinced. And the more I think about it, I'm like, I am convinced. This was all planned. Earliest debate in history, 2 months out to the official nomination. Biden looks like a corpse. Democrats immediately turn on him in public. And not just turn on him in public, aggressively turn on him in public. All of this to set up a brokered convention where the nomination goes to somebody else. It was fascinating to watch. I want to know what you think about it. 615-737-9986. I felt like we were witnessing a murder in real time. And Trump was fantastic. The crowd at Hop Springs when this happened went wild.
On the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
Hello, officer. I'd like to report an assault. There's an elderly man and he's down. It was wild. But Biden actually did what a lot of the left expected Trump to do. People say that Trump is bombastic. People say that Trump is a bully. But if you watched the debate last night, Trump was calm, cool, and collective, and it was Biden who was unhinged and name-calling and being just a lunatic, an absolute lunatic.
We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day. And I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
Unhinged lunatic going back to the well with debunked hoaxes. Debunked. And he goes in for the emotion with his son, and he's done it so many times that it's wallpaper, Joe. It's wallpaper.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up, and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up, just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
The crowd went wild at Hop Springs when this happened. And we had a crowd jam-packed with veterans. And I'll tell you what, every veteran there is telling me stories about how much the armed services respect Donald Trump. I met a guy, fascinating conversation. I wish I could have spent more time with him, that was stationed at Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo. And he told me that he was there when Trump got elected in 2016. And he said that the silence and the despair that went over Guantanamo was palpable when Trump was elected. Because during the Obama administration, people were leaving Guantanamo, and they realized that here comes somebody who's going to be strong. And the vibe changed. The energy shifted. I think last night we watched the energy shift in real time. The left understands that they're not going to win this with Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, he doesn't know where he is. How can you prepare for a week, and go back to the very fine people hoax that even the neckbeards at Snopes have debunked?
I said I wasn't going to run again until I saw what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches, and singing the same anti-Semitic bile they sang when back in Germany. And the young woman got killed. They spoke to the mother, and they asked him. They said, "What do you think of those people? The ones who got killed, the one who tried to stop it, and the ones," he said, "I think they're fine people on both sides." What American president would ever say Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas were fine people? And this is a guy who says Hitler's done some good things. I'd like to know what they are. The good things Hitler's done, that's what he said. This guy has no sense of American democracy.
Have you ever heard Trump say Hitler's done good things? So he's rehashing new hoaxes while he's rehashing old hoaxes while bringing out new hoaxes.
President.
And Trump decimates him.
Trump.
Jake, both of you know that story has been totally wiped out, because when you see the sentence, it said 100% exoneration on this. So he just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance. He's not equipped to be president. You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous. We have a debate. We're trying to justify his presidency. His presidency is, without question, the worst presidency in the history of our country.
Joe Biden is standing there with a confused look on his face and his mouth agape. And Trump is absolutely right. The debate last night was to justify the presidency of Joe Biden, and they absolutely failed.
We shouldn't be having a debate about it. There's nothing to debate. He made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place. Every reasonable anchor has debunked it. And just the other day it came out where it was fully debunked. It's a nonsense story. He knows that, and he didn't run because of Charlottesville. He used that as an excuse to run.
President Biden?
and debunk. It happened. All you have to do is listen to what was said at the time. And the idea that somehow that's the only reason I ran because I was worried a guy like this guy could get elected. If he thought they were good people coming out of that forest, carrying those woods, carrying those torches, then he didn't deserve to be president. Didn't deserve to be president at all. And the idea that he's talking about all this being fabricated, we saw with our own eyes.
Biden's pushing cheap fakes on live TV. That's what we're seeing with our own eyes. Biden is pushing cheap fakes. I want to know what you think about the debate. Phone lines are open. Andrew's on the line. I'm going to get to you next. 615-737-9986. We got a lot to cover. But this is your show. I'm more interested in what you think than what I think. 615-737-9986. Is Biden on his way out? Are they going to replace him? With who? With who? Was this a coup in real time? Plus, I got more reaction from members of the media. CNN aggressively turning on Joe Biden last night, mere seconds after the debate. Kamala Harris defending herself against Anderson Cooper. I got all that and more. Hang out with us. There's a lot to cover. A lot to cover, and it's crazy because it's just on one topic. But it's the topic everybody's talking about today. Is Joe Biden going to make it to November? Doubtful. Doubtful. Is that good for us? I don't know, man. If it's the guy we saw last night running, it's a slam dunk. I don't really want to. I don't want to lose Biden. I don't want to lose him. What would we do without him? 615-737-9986. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Paul Winkler Inc. I just had a meeting with Paul this past week. You know, we got to get our finances in order. So that way we have a secure future for myself, my wife, our 4 kids. And that's our responsibility. But it's one of those things where we were doing it on our own and we were not sure if we were doing things the right way. And we had a lot of questions. Well, Paul's always there to answer those questions for us. And he can be there for you to answer questions as well. You probably know Paul from his hosting of the Investor Coaching Show that we run every Saturday from 3 to 6. If you've never heard the show, it's appointment listening. Tune in tomorrow, 3 to 6, because Paul breaks things down in a way that you can understand. I love it. I honestly do. And it's because he's spent so much time in this industry. Before he started that show, he spent time studying under an economist who went on to win a Nobel Prize. That's pretty cool. And one of the things I personally love as a Christian is Paul can bring all of his advice back to the Bible. And when he breaks it down for you, I'll let him do it because he does it so eloquently. It really makes sense with your decision making. And Paul's also an avid collector of financial planning designations. He has up to 8 now. So my wife and I work with Paul. We heard him on WTN before I got my show here. And when I came on board, it was like easy, so easy. Like, yeah, of course I want to work with Paul. And here's why. Paul and his team hold themselves to the highest level of fiduciary status. As such, I got to tell you that I get paid when I do these commercials. Paul wants to make sure that we're transparent and we're honest. I like that. Where else do you hear that? But I also like that Paul's team does nothing on commission. I also like that Paul's team really focuses on education. So that way when you're making decisions, you never have that uneasy feeling, that pit in your stomach of blind trust. Like you're going to know exactly why you're making the decisions you're making. They're going to look at your whole financial picture. That's unique to you. And then they'll help you make some decisions. Set up a 15-minute phone call today. Get the ball rolling downhill. Don't wish and hope and dream about your financial future. Get a plan, put it into action. Go to paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Fallout from President Biden's lackluster performance in last night's CNN presidential debate and the U.S. Supreme Court releasing more decisions today. We'll have the latest at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so the Biden campaign is now saying Joe Biden will not drop out of the presidential race and is still committed to a second debate in September.
All right. I can't wait for that one either.
I'm excited. I don't think Trump needs to debate him again.
If I was him, I would just go there and just hang out. Say, all right.
Just drinking water, just casually leaning on the podium, just like, interesting.
Because every lie Biden told last night is being debunked right now. What else is he going to have?
Yeah, not even 24 hours later, which is wild.
CNN was debunking his lies.
Yes.
Yeah. CNN. All right, so I want to get to the phones. We got Andrew, Paul, Jim, Jack, Larry. We'll get to your calls next after Ken Weaver's newscast on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. And right now in our nation's capital, the U.S. Supreme Court just released a decision that says cities can enforce bans on homeless people sleeping outside, even if shelter space is lacking. And with the CNN presidential debate in the books, Democratic Party insiders privately expressing doubts about the future of President Biden's campaign, but not the Biden campaign. They say it was just an off night. They're not quitting. They're ready for October's debate. Stay with Super Talk 99.7 WTN for in-depth analysis and reaction all day, starting with Chris Hand right after the weather. Big ruling against the NFL. The league ordered to pay billions of dollars over its Sunday ticket subscription service. Here's DeMarco Morgan.
At issue is the league's Sunday ticket service, which offers people the chance to watch games that they are not broadcasting in their market on free network TV. Now, the lawsuit argues that the league violated antitrust laws by offering the package at an inflated price, and it restricted competition by only offering it on the satellite service DirecTV.
NFL says it's going to fight that decision, and that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
You heard Joe's heart tonight on the debate stage. He wakes up every morning thinking about how he can make the lives of Americans better. He's the president we need, the president you deserve.
But here's the deal: there's a lot of young women are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters, it's just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state lines.
Thank you. Sign up at JoeBiden.com to help finish the job.
Yep. Yeah, women are being raped by their sisters. I said that's amazing right before we got on the air. I said, hey, Mason, I know you didn't catch a lot of the debate, but Joe Biden said that women are being raped by their sisters last night.
What? I was like, just before we're about to go into the next segment, you're throwing that at me, waiting for a quick response.
It's 9:39 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. You can listen to the show on TuneIn, iHeart. You can catch anything you miss on the podcast, Apple, Spotify, all the things. Did I get all the things? Oh, you can watch us too. Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. I think that's all the things. Let's get to the phone lines. I want to know what you think about the debate. 615-737-9986. Andrew on the road. You are up first. What do you think, Andrew?
I think it was cringy. It did look a lot like elder abuse. And the idea that anybody could watch that and not see it for what it was is hilarious.
It's funny that you say the idea, because Joe Biden actually used that phrase in 90 minutes 27 times.
I know. I was dreaming about it. That, and by the way, he they got to do a montage of just him saying those two things. But my question is it was obvious that Biden had the the questions and the answers picked out, because the difference of him talking off the cuff and talking as if he had memorized the answers was completely different. So my question is, isn't that a prop? Isn't that a violation? He knew the answers. He knew what he was going to say.
Yeah, and you know what the best part is? It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
No, he sucked either way. I mean, of course.
Well, and I've heard a lot of people.
Obvious.
I've heard a lot of people say that the CNN debate moderators were fair, and I'm watching it, and I watched it in real time, and I didn't think they were too bad. But as I'm watching it again silently at my house, I'm like, they really weren't that fair. They definitely leaned towards Biden. They definitely gave Biden extra chances to follow up more than Trump. They definitely cut Trump off and gave Biden a little bit more chances to respond. And it's like, if those moderators had done this 10 years ago, they would have been roasted. Absolutely roasted.
He would have been left out to dry, like a fish out of water. And they bailed him out several times. But I'll give CNN the credit. They did much better than I anticipated that they were going to do in their bias. They did ask difficult questions for both candidates, and I respected that a little bit better than I would have expected. What about you?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with it, and I appreciate your call, Andrew. I think that when we were looking at it, we were really worried that it's going to be 3-on-1. It wasn't. I mean, did they lean towards Biden? Absolutely. Was it as bad as we thought it was going to be? No. And I think a lot of the sentiment towards CNN really comes from the post-debate coverage. I mean, the post-debate coverage, they're going on the air on CNN and they're fact-checking Joe Biden in essentially real time.
Some of them, he said, he's the only president in a while who didn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world. Troops have, of course, died on his watch. He said he's put in a $15 per shot cap on insulin and Medicare. It's a $35 a month cap. He said it's a $200 cap on overall drug spending in Medicare. It's $2,000 a year. He said the border now has fewer crossings than when Trump was in office. That's generally not true. He said, or at least strongly suggested, unemployment was at 15% when he took office. It was actually 6.4. He said Trump wants to get rid of Social Security. Trump doesn't. He said billionaires pay 8.2% in taxes. It's much higher. He said Trump told Americans to inject bleach amid COVID. We know Trump made foolish comments about scientists studying disinfectant injection, but didn't frame it as advice to people. And Biden said the Border Patrol endorsed him. No, its union supported the border bill he supported, never endorsed him himself.
In fact, actually, the Border Patrol union posted on Twitter during the debate, for the record, we have never endorsed Joe Biden. And one of the things the CNN analyst pointed out, Biden said that he had less people coming across the border than Trump. I mean, at one point, Biden said 40% less people coming across the border illegally and better than when Trump left office. Like, no. And usually, at least from what I've noticed, for like the bigger events, State of the Unions, debates, Biden, they give him something, he's jacked up, and he appears competent. Last night was the worst we've ever seen him. They did him no favors. The first 30 minutes were terrible. The middle was meh, and then the end was terrible. He stumbled, he stuttered, he couldn't talk, he rambled, and you could see Trump was trying to not to continue talking about how bad he was, but he couldn't help himself a few times, and that's when he said, I don't know what he said. I have no idea what he said there. And after the debate, elder abuse was trending. Elder abuse trending on Twitter. Classic. Paul in Mount Pleasant, what'd you think of the debate? Your instant reaction.
Well, honest with you, I'm just a hardworking dude, and I love God and I love my guns.
Amen.
And all this time, these dim ding dong douchebags have been pushing things that just aren't real. Okay, it's not hot; it's the weather.
Yep.
That's my son, not my daughter.
Yep.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, man. After last night, I'm going to belly on up to that all-you-can-eat buffet, and I'm going to get myself a second helping of my pound of flesh. We've sat here so patiently and watched all this madness around it that somebody would go up there and stand up for us, and that's exactly what 45-47 did last night. Totally exposed the madness and evil.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Great take, Paul. Jack in Franklin, you're up next on Super Talk. Your instant reaction to the debate.
Yeah, thank you for taking the call. you hit on it just a little while ago about elder abuse, and it's so apparent that the Democratic Party are willing to sell their souls to get power, and it shows that the platform is made of lies, and they're willing to take Joe and sacrifice him. What really upsets me is, why isn't Jill and Hunter, the beloved relatives of Joe, why aren't they sticking up for him and pulling him off the stage?
I've been saying this for months. Jill Biden is the most evil woman in America. If she loved her husband even a little bit, she would say, Joe, let's go spend the last few years of your life. Because let's be honest, do you think this guy has a decade left in him? Let's go spend the single-digit remaining years of your life on the beach with the grandkids. Maybe not the one you don't acknowledge, but the ones you like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is. I'm with you, Jack, and I appreciate your call. She is the most evil woman in America.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Why?
That's Joe Biden for you. The most evil woman in America. Don't find yourself a wife like Joe Biden. Don't do it. Terry in the Borough, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Terry?
Hey, good. Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. What do you think?
Well, you know, I was caught up with the sparring match between Trump and Biden like everybody else, but I watched a clip from CNN with Scott Jennings, and he was talking to the panel, and he brought up a very interesting take in that this could be a national security crisis, and the fact that we don't know who's running this country. And he brought up several interesting points, and I'm a little bit concerned about that because we don't know who's actually running this thing, and it could be a national security crisis.
No,
it really could be.
I'm with you. And the fact, I mean, he disappears for a week and nobody misses him at his job. We know he's not running the country. You have to think China is licking their chops and getting ready to take Taiwan, especially when you think about, at this point, they have to realize Trump is going to beat Biden. They have to understand that. And our enemies understand that. So, like, now's the time for them to make moves. I think that you nailed it. It's a crisis.
Well, what's the Joint Chiefs doing? I want to know what the Pentagon's doing. I mean, this is a lot bigger than we're really looking at here.
Well, it's June, so I would imagine that they're organizing, end of June, probably doing some sort of pride barbecue, sending out email reminders about pronouns, the important things, I would think.
Yeah.
It is a train wreck, Terry, and I don't know how we fix it. There's talks about the 25th Amendment. Apparently, Chip Roy is going to today introduce a resolution calling on VP Harris to start the 25th Amendment process to remove him. I don't know.
I would suggest that the Democrats and the Republicans put aside their partisan politics for the sake of the country and pull this thing together.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way Joe's going to walk away at this point. His family loves the power too much. And I think the only way to get him out would be the 25th Amendment. And that might be a good opportunity for Republicans because then Kamala Harris gets the big chair and they can't leapfrog her for somebody else. Because Kamala doesn't have a chance against Trump either.
Yeah, but is she running the country?
No, she still wouldn't be.
I don't know. I'm not so sure about that.
I know. I hear you, Terry. I appreciate your call. You're not. Scott Jennings isn't the only one that said that. Steve Bannon was saying this as well last night. He was on Real America's Voice, and he was highlighting that scary thought as well.
But man, oh man, the people, think about it, Grant. People that would allow this to go on with the national security of the United States and have somebody like Biden who barely knows where he is, can't stand up and make a decision against Putin, can't stand up and make a decision against the mullahs in Tehran, can't stand up and make a decision against the criminals in Xi in Beijing. Those people that would risk that and hide that or will do anything to shred the Constitution or any law out there. So right now I think you're seeing the danger of our ruling class.
The danger of our ruling class on full display. I got time for one more call. Real quick, let's go to John in Louisville. John, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, Chris, first-time caller. Love the show, man.
Hey, man, appreciate you calling in. What was your instant reaction to last night?
I'm kind of with you guys on it. I definitely feel like it was a coup. I think it was a setup. I've got a little bit of a take. I've been listening to Brian and Matt in the afternoon talk about it. The question that they asked was, what do we do with Kamala?
Yep.
They can't leapfrog Kamala. They can't leapfrog a black woman as vice president to put somebody else in the place. My take on it, I feel like they will have Joe step down. They're going to bring Kamala in as the president. That gives them the first ever black woman president. That gives the Democrats credit on that. Come November or the DNC time, she will acknowledge that she's not going to run for election. They will have got their black vice president woman. That will also give them the opportunity to bring in a nominee, and they're not leapfrogging her. She served her time, and everything is all well in the party.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's out of the realm of possibilities, but I think if you get her in the chair, she's another one of those people that loves power. I don't think she's going to give it up willingly.
Well, I agree with that. However, I don't feel that she's the one calling the shots, just like I don't feel that Joe's the one calling the shots.
No.
There's
I mean,
behind the scenes. The ones behind the scenes are the ones that they're more of a front as a spokesperson than they are anything.
This entire administration has been, don't look behind that curtain.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your call, man. Call anytime.
Hey, have a great weekend.
Hey, you too, buddy. It's 9:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get to more of your calls next. Real quick, though, I got to tell you about my friends at USS, United Structural Systems. Listen, when it comes to large home repairs, a lot of times, you know it, I know it. It's like you see something happening, you see the warning signs, and you just cover your eyes. You pretend it's not happening. We're afraid of what we're going to hear. And this is especially true when it comes to foundation repair. This could be something big that needs to be fixed. On the flip side, it could be a small problem that if we don't pay attention to could become bigger. Or, I mean, best case scenario could be nothing. But you want that peace of mind, and you certainly don't want to be sold something you don't need, right? You want somebody that's going to come in that you're going to be able to trust. Well, that's United Structural Systems. They're the company that's going to give you that, and they've done it over 25,000 times with 100% satisfied residential customers, and here's how they make that happen. When USS comes out to your house, you're going to get problem solvers who are going to bring peace of mind for you, the homeowner, not somebody who's worried about a sales quota, not somebody who's worried about upselling you on the next best thing, but someone who's there to educate you and help you understand what's happening with your home. At USS, that's their only measure of success, how satisfied you are. Not a closing ratio. That's the attitude. That's the culture. That's why they've been doing so well for so long. If you have some foundation issues, you also want the peace of mind knowing that USS is going to provide an honest diagnosis and stand by their warranties. This is huge. It's exactly what you want. Peace of mind. USS is based right here in Middle Tennessee. They're members of our community. USS has been in business for over 25 years, and they're not going anywhere. Walk around your house this weekend. If you see the soil pulling away from your foundation, you see cracks in your foundation, in your bricks, you see bowing basement walls. These are all red flags, and USS can come to your home and diagnose everything. This is the company who cares. This is the company that you can trust. They guarantee their best. Homeowners trust USS. Call them today. They're serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Western Kentucky. 615-488-7855. They're online at USSTN.com. 615-488-7855. 9:59 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. On the way, we're getting to more of your phone calls. Joe, Phil, Larry, hang on the line, guys. We'll take your calls next. Plus, the reaction from the media. The left is throwing Joe Biden under the bus. The Biden campaign says, we won't be deterred. We'll be there. And they're even open to the debate in October. If I was Trump, I'd say, why? Why? It'd be more time efficient and effective to debate Nikki Haley than debate Joe Biden at this point. Honestly. More of your reaction, more of the media's reaction next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ten o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and good luck if you're trying to make it to Nashville on time. If you are eastbound 24 through Montgomery County, you've got an 85-minute delay there between Wilma Rudolph Boulevard and MLK Parkway on 24 eastbound. Highway 100 at Old Harding Pike in near the Harpeth River in Davidson County. Got an injury crash there. Fallout from last night's CNN presidential debate in a moment, but first we need to tell you about the new SCOTUS rulings this morning. The U.S. Supreme Court just ruled in favor of a Jan 6 defendant facing up to 20 years in prison. Former police officer Joseph Fisher challenged his obstruction charge for his participation in the riot. The court concluded that the law enacted in 2002 after the Enron accounting scandal was only intended to apply in limited circumstances involving tampering with physical evidence. The High Court sending the case back to lower courts for further proceedings. And here's something else.
The U.S. Supreme Court in a 6-3 decision ruling that cities can enforce bans on homeless people sleeping outdoors in areas where shelter space is lacking. The case coming as a rising number of people in the U.S. are without a place to live. Here's ABC's Brian Clark.
The question was whether Grants Pass, Oregon violated the Eighth Amendment's prohibition on cruel and unusual punishment by barring people from sleeping or camping in public. The court's liberal wing clearly opposed the measure during oral arguments. Trump-appointed Justice Brett Kavanaugh seems skeptical at the thought of sending someone to jail if a shelter was full.
You still don't have a bed available. So how's this help?
The Biden administration, not taking either side, said homeless people should not be certified as a class, but evaluated individually. Brian Clark, ABC News.
We are still waiting for decisions having to do with absolute immunity for the president and charges against the January 6 protesters.
Yeah, well, we just told you about that. Another Supreme Court ruling reversing a 40-year-old decision known as Chevron that made it easier for the federal government to regulate the environment, public health, workplace safety, and consumer protections on business interests. Until today's ruling, federal agencies were allowed to fill in the details when laws weren't crystal clear. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I'm cozy in here today, guys. Are you feeling the cozy? Now, I know there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of uncertainty. And people do look at Joe Biden as a national security risk, but let's just enjoy the moment for a second, right? Can we enjoy the moment? Because the Democrats have been absolutely exposed. They try to tell us it's cheap fakes. They try to tell us it's clips taken out of context. And then they spend 2 weeks preparing for a debate, and the Joe Biden that shows up is the Joe Biden we've been telling you is Joe Biden.
What?
Yeah, for months. For years. Never underestimate Joe's ability to F things up. We actually just had a tour come through here. One of our salespeople was showing some guys around, and
oh yeah.
So I popped up. I'm in a good mood. I opened the door. Like, my shoes are off. I got I'm in the studio. My socks on.
Extra casual.
I got my MAGA hat rocking today. I don't always rock the MAGA hat, but today's the day for a MAGA hat. And
seems like a special day for it, for sure.
The cozy is at an all-time high.
What was their reaction?
I don't know if they knew how to take me. They definitely looked down and realized I'm standing there in my socks, and they're like, "What is going on?
Who is this guy?"
Yeah, so I warned the kids, don't enjoy the tour too much. Radio doesn't pay well, and I think they're going to take my advice.
See, I don't have any shoes.
Yeah, see?
I can't afford these things.
Look, all I got is this MAGA hat. So, and I'm wearing a station shirt too. Like, I look poor.
You look sponsored.
But I mean, listen, it's a good day. Joe Biden has been exposed because for months, this is what the Democrats told us. Oh, hold on, let me turn this audio up. See, this is how cozy we are. I don't even have my audio up.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
This is a man who is sharp, who is on top of his game, who knows what's going on.
This guy's tough. He's smart. He's on his game. His mental acuity is great.
This is a very sharp president.
This is a man that's on his game.
President Biden is absolutely fit.
There's not a problem.
He's sharp. He's fit. He's always answering questions.
He is on the ball.
He was sharper than anyone I've spoken to.
He is sharp. He is on top of things.
There's no doubt in my mind that the president is mentally fit for office.
Biden has proven himself to have a strong memory.
He's completely mentally sharp.
He's at the top of his game.
And now they've been exposed as frauds.
That was real confusing for a second there, because I was like, oh yeah, Trump is all that stuff. And then I said Biden, and I was like, hold on. Wait a second. I think you misspoke there.
After last night's debate, everybody knows what time it is. Let's go to Joe on the road. Your instant reaction from the debate last night, Joe. Thanks for holding.
Hey, boss. How you doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
Man, riding and guiding, styling and profiling. I didn't watch all of it because it just kind of, but the parts of it I did see. They keep bringing up Trump as comparing him to Hitler.
Yep.
Didn't Germany pump Hitler up with amphetamines before all of his big speeches and stuff like that?
Yep.
Shouldn't the doctor and the family be liable if something happens to poor old Joe?
I would think so. I
mean, they prosecuted Michael Jackson's doctor, you know. I mean, come on now. It's ridiculous. And you can see the moments where in his eyes, you can't see his pupils. His eyebrows popped up all the way to the top of his head. He just stood there with the big deer in the headlights look.
Yep.
As he's talking, and I don't know. It was a circus to me. You said something about the Joint Chiefs of Staff. What they're doing is picking out their panties and dresses for the 4th of July party.
Yes.
That's all they're doing, and painting their nails. But anyways, you guys do a great job. It's time for the Republicans to get up off the sidelines right now. Today forward to November, this all needs to be attacked, and it needs to be because you can win the Senate, you keep power in the House. There's no reason why, with all the lies they've told and being exposed the way they are, that you don't just attack this. You get up off the sidelines and go to battle right now.
100%.
Don't patty cake. Don't patty cake. And any Republican, Libertarian, constitutional, conservative, Christian needs to be talking to their neighbors, to their friends, the people that they just don't agree with.
Yep.
because of politics and say, "Did you watch the debate?
Yeah.
Here, let me show you part of it."
Yeah, and I've said this. I've said this for a while, Joe. We're in a unique position here in Middle Tennessee because of all the transplants. We can touch so many other states. We should be making phone calls to people we haven't made phone calls to in a while.
I do it every day at the gas pump. I talk to the people that aren't the same color as me, whether it be black, Hispanic, and I'm like, why did you leave Mexico? If you're here, why did you leave Mexico? And if you're voting Democrat, I mean, it was like the panel afterwards, after the debate. I watched a little bit of the news, and they had 3 black people on the panel, and CNN was trying to spin it as best they could. They talked to Vance, I think, and then They talked to a panel of 3 black people. There was 2 guys and a woman, and you could tell she's a never Trumper. She's gonna vote blue all the way. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
The other 2, they dropped their hands and said, "I don't know if he's the man or not."
Yep.
When they said who's voting this time for Biden, so 2 out of 3, we're moving in the right direction. Just keep pounding it. I mean, you're on the goal line. Pound it.
Yes.
Pound it.
Now and now is not the time to be complacent. Now is not the time to say we won. We can celebrate come November 6th. But right now, we need to work harder than we've ever worked before. I think that you are so spot on, Joe. You're absolutely on the money. We have to.
2020, we got lazy. We thought he had it in the bag.
Yep.
And people didn't show up at the polls, and we knew that they were going to cheat.
Yep.
Do you think for 1 second they're not going to do it this time?
Yeah.
That they're not going to pull all the same shenanigans? And I mean, everybody has to show up right now. Show up to your local elections, the Senate and the Congress. Show up and just put your name on a ballot. If we're wrong in the end, at least you voted and you have a voice in it. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. Just it's time to go to battle.
I think, Joe, I think that your analysis is just spot on, man. We got to keep working. Like we should enjoy the moment, but like it's time to grind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The last part of that is, yes, Trump should debate, but he is in the driver's seat right now. He makes the rules. If they want to show up to the next debate, he says he has some of the. Get Tucker Carlson in there as one of the moderators.
Let's get Joe Rogan. Let's get Tucker. Let's get some real people.
Dana White. I mean, anybody.
100%.
Real people. Anyways, God bless you guys. I miss the Kansas City kid. He's over there with Tay and Travis, and but everybody's still doing a great job. You guys are amazing.
Hey, appreciate you, Joe. Thanks, man. Call in anytime. And Joe was talking about that panel of black voters, and I believe this is the panel that he was talking about where Joe loses 2/3 of them.
Raise your hand for me if you voted for Biden in 2020.
All 3 raise their hand.
And keep your hand up if you're still with him this time around after that debate.
2 people put their hand
going down.
So he's losing voters fast. Fast. So fast. Larry in Clarksville, my man, you've been holding for a minute. I appreciate you. Instant reaction on the debate.
Well, first of all, thanks for taking the call. And the offer is still open for the kids to come out and play on the John Deere.
Hey, I know. I feel the same way that you feel, though, about Hop Springs. It's like, that's a haul, man. That's a haul. Maybe we got to meet halfway sometime.
Well, yeah, that'd be great. I would love to have met your kids. And get a handshake. I thought Donald Trump did a great job, and I do believe it was a setup for Joe. And I know Brian will disagree with me, but I think Michelle Obama is their only real chance.
I mean, that might be their only hope. I've heard about the Maryland governor, Wes Moore. I think the Dems are just screwed.
But he is rated right next to Massachusetts.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm not even going to say bless your heart to Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom's a total tool. He was going on TV last night and defending Joe Biden. He actually sent out a fundraising email this morning. And he said, folks, listen, I'm old-fashioned, but on the substance, Joe Biden won the debate last night. That's how he opens his fundraising email. Yeah. Joe Biden won the debate last night, and California is a shining example to America of what we can all be, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's shining California. All of my family left California as soon as they could.
Yep. I don't blame them.
And, I don't either. I mean, yeah, we can get a tornado now and then, but we ain't got to worry about mudslides and, water shortages and, all that stuff.
Yep. I'll take a tornado over a shanty town that doesn't go away.
Well, yeah. I mean, the last time I went out there to visit, Chris, it was illegal to walk down a street and smoke a cigarette, but you could smoke a joint, or you could be hopped up on meth, and you're fine.
Yep.
They would write you a ticket for smoking a cigarette on a street.
Yep. It's the craziest thing. Hey, I appreciate your call, Larry. Call anytime. It's amazing, though. Joe Biden is going to need days to recover from this, right? Trump is already getting ready for another rally in Virginia today. Who's working harder? Let's go to Jim in Tullahoma. You're up next on Super Talk. Instant reaction on the debate, Jim.
Hey, these that you just played that recording about the ones that are giving them all the praise and everything else. A lot of these are probably on the equity trail. They've all come in, and they may not all be as sharp as a rusty old knife. They're just not where they need to be, and we need to get somebody in there that has the capabilities of taking care of business.
Yep. I hear you, dude. You're absolutely right. Steven in Paris, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Steve?
What's up, Chris? Man, the smell of that Joe Biden coffee, everybody's starting to wake up to, huh?
Hey, it smells good, doesn't it? It smells good.
Everybody smells the coffee today except for Joe Biden. He's still sleeping.
Well, he has a cold. I don't know if he can smell much of anything.
Yeah, hey, man. Today, this morning, I just woke up. I don't know if same for you, but I think a lot of people, man, it was just like the weight of the world just kind of lifted off a little bit. I can see clearer. Just a whole different feeling, man, is just, it's like, wow, there's really some light. The light at the end of the tunnel just kind of got a lot bigger. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like, oh,
I'm with
man.
you.
So,
and it's like, it's the weight is off our shoulders, and I appreciate your call, Stephen. The weight's off our shoulders, and it's shifted over to the left. The pressure is now on the left. The energy has shifted, and you can hear the panic in their voices in the post-debate coverage last night. Nicole Wallace is on MSNBC, and she's openly admitting that the conversations today are going to be about whether they should replace Joe Biden or not.
And there is a conversation happening inside Biden's circle, and certainly a much more frank conversation happening inside the Democratic coalition. And I think there will be stories of a lot of concern about the performance tonight. And I think when you say conversations happening, what do you mean? I think people are talking. I think the conversations range from whether he should be in this race tomorrow morning to what was wrong with him.
Whether he should be in this race tomorrow morning or what was wrong with him. That's their instant reaction. CNN's John King, his immediate reaction, he insists that the Democrats are plotting a public intervention to remove Joe Biden.
Minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. It involves party strategists, it involves elected officials, it involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket. And they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call? Because they feel this debate was so terrible.
Should we go public? They're definitely going to go ask Joe if he should step aside, and Joe's going to say no. He's going to say no. They're going to have to force him out. There's no getting around that. I got time for one more call real quick. Jan in Nashville, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Jan?
Hey, I think they totally planned this. I think they knew he was going to be as terrible as he was, and I think they're going to replace him.
Who do they replace him with, Jan?
Probably Newsom or Hillary or Michael Obama. I'm sorry, Michelle Obama.
Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Listen, I hear you. I mean, I don't know if Michelle Obama wants the job. I don't know if she does. That, honestly, that would be the only candidate that would make me go, all right, we got a dogfight now. Every other name that I'm hearing, I'm like, all right, yep. Next. None of them give me any kind of pause or fear. The Michelle Obama one, that would be different. That would be different. Because I think that could dig into all of the momentum that Trump has been gaining in the black community. Maybe not. I could absolutely be wrong. But I think out of all those that you just named, Jan, Newsom, Hillary, and Mike, it would be Obama would be the scariest. It's 10:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get to more of your calls next. Hang out with us. It's the Chris Hand Show.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
All right, we still got the traffic obstruction if you're eastbound 24 in Montgomery County. Looks like the slowdown's going to be there between Wilma Rudolph Boulevard, MLK Parkway. It's about a 26-minute delay. And SCOTUS may have just upended scores of Jan 6 cases, including what former President Trump is facing, coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
We are going to get so tired of winning. Do you feel like that? We're going to be winning so much that we're going to say, okay, guys, we should let somebody else have a turn for a little bit.
Kind of like Alabama football.
Oh, okay.
Football.
Ken will bring it right back to football. I tell you what, last night at the debate watch party at Hop Springs, the person that people were most excited to see was Ken Weaver.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. Without a doubt. Yes, it was. It certainly was. Ken jumped on the air, and he got an ovation from the crowd that that I've never heard. I've never heard at any of our events. I haven't heard it for myself or Mandis or Murphy or Wilson. It was an ovation reserved for Weaves.
Absolutely well-deserved. Absolutely.
Ken's a national treasure.
That beard is iconic. That voice, the best.
100%. 100%. We are blessed beyond our years for Ken Weaver.
Absolutely.
You boys cut it out, man.
No, I mean it.
You can't stop me. You're in another room.
The super text line agrees. The super text line agrees.
Well, I'm kind of like you, Brother Chris. I think we ought to have all these events in Murfreesboro.
Oh, my gosh.
I am for it.
That's the squad. That's the gang. Borough gang. Rutherford County, I mean.
Let's go.
But we got lots more places to go, so.
Yeah, we're going to be everywhere.
Yeah, just as long as we come to Murfreesboro a little more often this time. Like, now that you guys have shown that you guys are going to show up and show out.
It was a good crowd. It was an awesome crowd. 615-737-9986. Your instant reaction on the debate. Let's go to Christian in Orange County. What do you think about it, Christian?
Yes, first of all, I watched from the Merit station and that. I watched Robert Kennedy when they was interviewing him for about an hour and a half. Then I took and watched the presidential thing with Biden and Trump. Now, the thing about it is, at the end of that thing, they kept trying to hem Donald Trump into saying he would accept if Joe Biden win or whatever, et cetera, and that. And he kept telling them if it was a fair one. But they kept asking that question to him a few times. And I noticed if it's something I didn't miss, they never asked these questions to Joe Biden.
Right.
Now, as for giving some advice to the Republican Party, I would say this here about taking an map of the United States in all the places that they put up on the screen every so often, they need to be having that taken in over and over again, periodically showing where China has taken bought land and excruciating places where they could take and hit with weapons to take and knock us out, etc., and what they're up to in that. Now, all I can do is take and notice things like this. Now, I believe in America. I've never been a party member in my life, but I never will vote for the Democrat Party again because of 2008 when they, in their convention, they backed murdering babies, homosexuality, and all these things and that.
Yeah, I hear you, Christian. I do. And I think a lot of people are waking up to those lies of the left. I appreciate your call. We got more calls on the way. I got everybody waiting. Justin, Frank, Doug, Bobby, Mike. We'll get to you guys next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Now it's just an 8-minute delay if you're eastbound 24 through Clarksville. You've got that slowdown between Wilma Rudolph Boulevard and MLK Parkway. Just an 8-minute delay now if you're on the way to Nashville. U.S. Supreme Court may have just upended numerous Jan 6 cases, including former President Trump. They narrowed the scope of an obstruction charge that former police officer Joseph Fisher challenged. The law was intended only for tampering with physical evidence in business crimes. Now it goes back to lower courts to see if the Justice Department can still prosecute Jan 6 under this new interpretation. Another SCOTUS decision today upended a 40-year-old law making it easier for the federal government to regulate the environment, public health, workplace safety, and consumer protections on business interests. Until today's ruling, federal agencies were allowed to fill in the details when laws were ambiguous. And cities can enforce outdoor sleeping bans on the homeless, even when shelters are full, according to one of the SCOTUS rulings released today. 3 so far. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
So, look, he got off to a rough start. You know, he said afterwards, I have a sore throat. You may have seen that he went to the Waffle House in Atlanta after the debate, got some food. You know, you're going to see him on the stump today. He's going to North Carolina. He's got a big rally there. He'll be in New York later today at the Stonewall event. You know, business as usual as far as he's concerned on the campaign. But again, when it comes down to perhaps the night could have gone a little bit better for Joe Biden, but when it comes to the issues that this campaign is about, the issues that matter to the American people, President Joe Biden is on their side. He's fighting for them. And that is what our campaign will continue to drive.
That's Adrienne Elrod, the top Biden spokeswoman. Biden had a sore throat. Give him a break. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You know, the reason he went back to the well for all the hoaxes was, you know, we've all been in that Dayquil fog. You know?
Yeah, when you swap the Dayquil and the NyQuil together, you go a little extra hazy, trying to take a nap in the middle of a very important debate on who's going to be the leader of our country. Yeah, I get it. It happens.
What a clown excuse. He had a cold. He had a cold. You know, on CNN this morning, the word is out. Crooked Joe Biden has no plans to drop out of the race, and he's willing to debate again.
There are no plans, I'm told, for the president to drop out of the race. And even further, I'm told that the president is still committed to a second debate in September, which is currently scheduled for September 10th and hosted by ABC News, much along the lines of the rules of the debate that was hosted last night. Now, the advisor that I spoke with said that they're not putting too much stock in the conversation last night, and that many of the staffers on the campaign and in the White House also worked on President Obama's reelection in 2012. And they tried to draw the parallel to that first debate that was a very low performance for President Obama. Even he would call it a stinker. And they said if you had believed the pundits in the wake of that debate, Mitt Romney would be president, would have been president after that. But
can't just be a bunch of castrated robots reading questions from the boss.
No, it is. It is. That's what that was.
It's like right on the nose of just being controlled, reading whatever comes off the teleprompter kind of thing. It's, I don't know.
It is wild to see the disconnect from the Biden campaign and what they're saying and what the actual leftist Mockingbird media is saying. Because the Mockingbird media is telling us we got to get rid of Joe. The campaign's saying Joe's not going to go. We're going to take some calls on this. Justin in the borough, your instant reaction to last night's debate. What's up, man?
Hey, Chris, listen, I listened to part of the debate on the radio. I made it home, cut it on the TV, waited till the kids went to bed. I watched the thing again. I watched this thing twice.
Yep.
The initial sentiment after watching it twice was, it's over. It's over for Joe. It's done. I then started finding some reactions from the news media outlets, MSNBC. I watched some NBC, et cetera, and the freak out that they are having is unmitigated. It is all out. Just they are losing and have lost it. They are just panicking, anxious. Yep. They are freaking out, and it's just clear. When I woke up this morning after having slept and rethinking about it, the only thing I could think of was it's over. He's done.
Yeah, I had the same exact feeling that you did. I appreciate the call. I watched the debate twice as well. I watched it live at Hop Springs with a raucous crowd, the best crowd. And that was, honestly, I'd never want to watch a debate differently ever again. I think that we need live audiences for all of these things because it was so much fun. Dan compared it to a WWE match with our audience. I made the joke that it's like the meme, the stereotype of a black movie theater, the way everybody was yelling at the screens. It was hilarious. But the disconnect between the campaign and the media is wild. You heard Adrienne Elrod saying that, well, Joe had a cold. He had a sore throat. That's what it was. But, I mean, on CBS this morning, which mainstream media definitely controlled by leftist narratives, CBS is on the news this morning, and they're saying nobody Nobody believes Biden had a cold.
He kept saying, he had a cold, but this is the thing. When you have a cold, there's many things you can take for it. We didn't know he had a cold until he stood up. A cold doesn't force you to lose your train of thought.
Yep.
A cold doesn't force you to just throw things out randomly that to many people made no sense. And so how long do we continue to act like that we didn't see what we just saw last night? I thought for many people, the word I keep hearing, it was very painful to watch.
Painful to watch. That's something special. It's something special to hear the Mockingbird media admit what we've known for a long time. That was painful to watch. Painful. I mean, Joe forgets what he's saying mid-sentence and does the 1,000-yard stare.
Care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicaid, beat it to death. Okay.
Whoa.
What? Like, it's funny, but it's scary.
It's terrifying.
Like, my instant reaction is laugh. That's what a lot of times and you've known if you've been listening to the show since I got it here. My instant reaction is to laugh and to mock. But it's downright terrifying that this is the guy that's supposed to be running the country. Bobby in Nashville, your instant reaction on the debate, my friend.
Hey, brother, I'm going to run a few things by you real quick and let the other callers get in. First of all, you guys do an outstanding job every day from the beginning to the end.
Thank you, sir.
And I want to throw this out there for the state of Oklahoma. Thank you for getting those Bibles back in school, brother.
Amen. Listen, that cannot be understated. They say
that's right, brother.
We've seen the slippery slope the other way. Let's start our own slippery slope.
The Republicans has got to get off their thumbs now, quit playing games.
Yep.
We need them to start punching at the beginning of the next week.
Yep.
Quit flip-flopping. And this is kind of funny, too. I mean, every time they try to throw Trump off, the narrators did, and even Biden, it was something like Biden was like, oh, he's a felon, blah, blah, blah. But then all of a sudden, Trump come back and said, well, your son's a felon, too. Okay. What else did he say? And it was just...
And then he lays into him and he said, with the crimes you've committed, you could be a felon too.
Brother, they didn't rattle him like they wanted to. They wanted to rattle Trump, but it didn't work. And I mean, it's pitiful, man, in a way, because I see Joe Biden's eyes. It kind of reminds me of my dad. My dad had dementia, man, and that's what this dude's got.
Yep.
He's got a form of dementia. And another thing, the news media, the Democrats or whatever they want to call themselves. Man, they are
communists.
They're just tore up this morning. You remember the movie Deliverance?
Yep.
Well, I see them all right now squealing like pigs, brother. Yes. Squealing like pigs.
I'm with you, Bobby. I appreciate the call, man. You are spot on. And again, yeah.
Y'all have a good weekend, man.
Hey, you too. Shout out to Oklahoma, getting Bibles and the commandments in schools, teaching for the Bible. That is a big win too. We're gonna get tired of winning, you guys. We're gonna get tired of winning. Doug in Gallatin, you're next on Super Talk. Instant reaction, brother.
Well, I was scared after I saw that. I was scared. But to give you a couple of opinions, I think that Kamala is going to be the put it because we're concerned with having other thing, and I think they're going to do that at the risk of losing, because I know they're losing with Biden anyway. But the other thing that really scares me is that if they do choose to put somebody new in at the last minute, we all know that people kind of jump on bandwagons, and Trump and Biden both are kind of, they don't have the greatest favorable ratings, favorability. And if they get somebody new in there, that could be a problem. So we have still got to fight like crazy.
Yes. Now is not the time to be complacent. You're absolutely right.
We can't give in an inch. I mean an inch.
Nope.
It's got to be all hands on board right now.
I'm with you, brother.
And,
I'm with you. I appreciate that. Oh, what was that?
I still think it's going to be Harris, though. I think they're going to do that because they want to be able to say we're the party to ever have a female president. And I really think they're going to do that.
No, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me, and I think that's more realistic than Michelle Obama.
Yeah, I do too.
Hey, appreciate the call, brother. Thanks. Call anytime. Let's go to Michael in Gallatin. You're next on Super Talk. What's up, Mike? Thanks for holding.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I love your show.
Thank you, man.
I heard a lot of people comment, and I myself watched a train wreck as well. Don't know what station you watched it on. I watched it on, I hate to say it, but CNN. At the end, when the credits were rolling and all that, I don't know if anybody noticed it or not, but as Trump was getting ready to walk off, Biden was still holding on to the podium like a stabilizer, and Jill walked up and talked to him until Trump went around the corner, and then she took his arm, and he was walking like a toddler.
Yep. And
they had 2 or 3 steps they had to go down. You could tell that Jill was supporting almost all of his weight going down those steps.
Yep.
And to me, that was the climax of the whole train wreck. Was I wanted to see him, how he left the stage.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and Jill is definitely the ringleader in this. I've said it a couple of times. I appreciate your call, Mike. I appreciate you holding. Jill Biden is the most evil woman in America. Easily. If she loved her husband at all, if there was any little bit of her that truly cared for that man, they would be on a beach. They'd be on a beach. We got to be honest. Joe's got single digits years left of his life. And Jill Biden is refusing to let him step down. Jill Biden is the evil woman behind the curtain. Easily. And Democrats see what's going on. Robert Herr somewhere is probably like, I tried to tell you guys.
Just in this moment, he's at a watch party. They're cheering 4 more years. He's speaking. What I'm curious about, okay, is does he know how bad this was at this moment? He walked out to his aides. Does he know?
No, Joe doesn't know how bad it was. Joe thinks he did a bang-up job. And it's because of that evil woman that is his wife. Joe, you did so good. You answered all the questions. You knew everything. And he's surrounded by people like that.
Why did that slightly sound like Bernie Sanders?
That sounded like Bernie? That's my Jill.
Just a little bit. I mean, it's a mix. It's like a nice little fusible. I don't know why.
It's my evil northern lady. Joe, you did so good. Everybody's proud of you. That's my best Jill Biden.
It's pretty good.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought I nailed it. I thought I nailed it. Because she's at the watch party treating him like a toddler. And she quite literally says, Joe, you did so good.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question.
You answered every question.
Holy cow.
And what did Trump do?
And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do?
He lied. Right? I feel like that's a pretty good Jill. I feel like I do it. I don't know. It's not something to hang your hat on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stake my reputation on it, but I feel like I do a pretty good Dr. Jill. Hey, Frank in Tennessee, instant reaction on the debate, my friend.
I believe everything is all part of the Democrats' plan. I think that they knew they were going to do this. They knew that he was diminishing. They've got a plan, I believe, to put Kamala in place because, and here's why, it's unpopular to most people I tell this to, but she's the perfect puppet. She's exactly what he is, except a little more cognitively there.
Yep.
But I believe that, they don't do anything by accident. I think that they might be in a bad spot because he's declined quicker than they thought he would.
Yep.
But they did that on purpose. They put him on stage because they wanted they wanted to get an opportunity to come out and actually admit the truth that everyone's been saying. And so now this gives them the opportunity to clear themselves and go, yep, we see it. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that doesn't see it is Joe himself. I appreciate the call, Frank. And Joe doesn't see it because of the people around him.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts.
It's 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
What did Trump do?
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It is that time of the year. The heat is not going anywhere, and if your AC is not working the way it should be, you are feeling it right now. Well, get your system running at maximum peak efficiency. Don't wait. Get your AC maintained today, because if you don't, if you're not proactive, you're essentially waiting for a problem to pop up. You got to keep your unit in tip-top shape. As 45 says, tippy-toppy. Whether you need that annual maintenance, repair, or replacement plumbing, heating, or air system, the guys who I trust, who we all trust, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And if you do need to replace your AC this summer, you're not going to find a better value on replacement systems. The guys over at Busy Bee will offer up to 12 months with no payments, no interest, with approved credit. And while you're there, sign up to be a Beehive member. When you become a Beehive Club member, you're getting so much value for such a little investment. It's only $99, and you get the following: 3 annual tune-ups, 1 for your cooling, 1 for your heating, 1 for your plumbing, a 10% discount on all repairs, priority front-of-the-line service, a $100 annual accrued replacement credit with a maximum of $1,000, no overtime or holiday fees, and exclusive Beehive member promotions. Becoming a Beehive member will literally pay for itself. I guarantee it. Also, if you're looking for work, the guys at Busy Bee, business is booming, and they're looking for technicians and plumbers. So give them a call today if you need some work, 615-775-7833. Give them a call today if you need some help with your AC system. They're your Rude Pro partner, 615-775-7833. Online at busybeehvac.com.
I do everything from scrubbing cages to asking people for donations to answering the phones and helping facilitate getting animals to the rehab. I'm there on the weekends, up there taking care of animals with the team.
You got a great team there. It's a small team, but a great team that works together. And
well, I started about 20 years ago. My dear friend Carol Burgess founded Harmony in Fairview.
Okay.
And we decided to reopen it in West Nashville. And we are rocking along. Lots of animals. One of the primary calls that we get are, I found a bird, it's on the ground, what do I do? And in most situations, you should let it alone unless there's an imminent danger to that animal, because the parents are helping it and feeding it, and it just needs a couple of scary days on the ground until it gets back up into flight. What about bunnies, Melody? Can we give advice about bunnies?
The bunnies, they're just the sweetest, most innocent creatures, and we just see the worst things happen to them. Cats, dogs, lawnmowers, weed whackers.
In most cases, if the animals aren't injured, if you can put the rabbits back, that's always better to be with the mother rabbit than to come to us.
All the storms that have been coming through and just destroying nests, and a lot of babies will be found on the ground. Re-nesting is possible and preferable.
You play the video calls and you put the baby near where they found it, and the mama will actually come down and pick it up and then bring it back.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that cool?
Nice.
10:58 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, getting your instant reaction from the debate all day long here on Super Talk. 615-737-9986. We've had jammed phone lines all day. We love you guys weighing in. We got more of your calls on the way from George, JD, John, Gary, Trucker John, Sean. We're going to get to all you guys. Real quick, though, Scott Jennings on CNN roasted Joe Biden.
We have been told for weeks by Democrats who say, oh, in private meetings, I've seen Joe Biden do cartwheels and handstands while solving all the nation's problems.
He's one of the smartest, sharpest people I've met in D.C.
I strongly support President Biden. He has the demeanor.
He is energizing. He cares about issues. He's Joe Biden.
I don't have any concerns.
President Biden is absolutely fit.
He was sharper than anyone I've spoken to.
And I think the more he's out there, the better.
He knows the issues so well.
Can you step aside? We now know that every single person who said that has been lying to the American people.
Everyone that says that has been lying. And it's on full display for the country right now.
We have been told.
And that is a win. That is a win for Donald Trump and his journey to being 47. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. SCOTUS decisions coming down today. Here's Sherry Preston.
The High Court making it harder to charge Capitol riot defendants with obstruction of an official proceeding, something that former President Donald Trump has also been charged with. Here's ABC's Devin Dwyer.
This decision by the Supreme Court is very measured. It's narrow. It's basically laying out that any time those charges are going to be brought under that part of the law, there has to be some connection to documents and records being destroyed.
ABC Chief Law and Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has more on how many rioters the Justice Department thinks could actually see convictions overturned.
They conclude there are only about 27 people that had only this case as the primary charge against them, meaning about 27 people would actually see some likelihood of their sentence being significantly reduced.
As for Donald Trump, a decision on his case claiming absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for acts he did as president is expected on Monday.
Two other decisions this morning. One upends a 40-year-old law that made it easier for the federal government to regulate the environment, public health, workplace safety, and consumer protections on business interests. Until today's ruling, federal agencies were allowed to fill in the details when laws were ambiguous. And the other ruling from the Supreme Court today says cities can enforce bans on homeless people sleeping outside even when shelters are full. And right now in our nation's capital, ABC News Chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl answers the question, will Democrats try to replace Biden at the top of the ticket due to last night's CNN presidential debate performance?
There's no way to force him out that I can see anyway, although trust me, people are looking at this, unless he voluntarily decides that he is going to step down and say the convention should choose another candidate.
And that convention coming up August 19th. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You guys have been waiting on the phone line so patiently, providing instant reaction to the debate. I gave you my thoughts earlier. Was last night a cheap fake? Or is that just the Joe Biden that we knew was Joe Biden all along? I don't think it was one of those cheap fakes.
Cheap fakes?
I don't know.
Was that the Joe Biden we've known all along, or is it the Joe Biden that we made along the way?
Yeah, right. I mean, I feel like it's the Joe Biden the Democrats have made along the way. I mean, was he really that bad, or is this just the usual exaggeration? No. Spoiler alert, he was that bad. Body language was defeated, low energy. He was stuttering and forgetting things. Trump was on point, on message with every question he answered with ease. He got around the gotcha questions. A lot of people are like, oh, he didn't answer some questions. Like, yeah, but that's by design. When they're asking him about mass deportations, he knows that they're going to clip that out of context, so he goes around that question. When they're asking him about climate change, he knows they're going to clip that out of context, so he goes around the question. I thought it was smooth. And we watched the Sleepy Joe memes come to life. Every single critique and criticism about Joe Biden that you can think of was on display last night. From the rambling about debunked hoaxes to him losing his place, forgetting what he's saying, and Trump just rocking him. All right, I want to know what you think. Let's go to Trucker John's been on hold the longest. John, what's your instant reaction to the debate last night?
Chris, it's an absolute pleasure to speak with you. Frankly, I'm a little bit disappointed. I mean, it's kind of like going watching a NASCAR event, hoping for a crash, and none comes. I mean, I saw a little bit of stumbles, a little bit of bumper, tagging, but nothing I didn't expect to see.
Yeah, it kind of was like the Tyson Holyfield fight. You think you're going to see something really great, and you're like, all right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they kept asking last night, which Donald are we going to see? Which Joe are we going to see? And I thought we got a little bit of both. I thought out of Trump we got a little bit of the raging bull, and we got a little bit of the tempered diplomat. Out of Joe, we got a little bit of the angry Joe. We got a lot of the sleepy Joe. I think it was a definite win for Trump, but again, I was a little bit disappointed.
Well, and then where did your kind of quantify the disappointment? What really disappointed you the most?
That we didn't see a major stumble out of Joe. I didn't see anything last night that I haven't seen already. I didn't see anything that would really make it stand out. Go, oh God, why have we got this guy in office?
I think that's going to be the case for conservatives, though. But I think the difference is the left and the middle saw that the media has been covering for Joe Biden. The left and the middle saw the Joe Biden that we see. And I think that's huge.
I agree. As far as replacing Joe with somebody, I would go with what the media says. I wouldn't listen to campaign people.
Who would you listen to? I'm sorry.
I would listen more to the media. They seem to be they have more of an input on what happens anyway. I think the media is right. I think that they're going to replace Joe.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the campaign people, like the Adrian Elrods and the spokespeople and the surrogates, they're collecting a check, right? And a lot of the campaign is going to be 20-year-old interns anyway. I wouldn't trust what the campaign says. The campaign has to say that he's going to keep going. But we're going to find out. I would imagine we're going to find out very soon the fate of Joe Biden.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm really, really sorry I didn't get to hang out with you guys last night. I'm on the road delivering goods across the country. So,
hey, man, you're doing God's work. The country doesn't run without truckers.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, appreciate you. Let's go to George in the borough. You're up next on Super Talk. What's up, George?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, man? Instant reaction.
Yeah, so I was pleased overall. There's something that I think that WTN needs to mention. Maybe I haven't listened long enough today, but I'll get to that in a second. The fact that the mainstream media is echoing what WTN has been saying about Biden for the last 3.5 years is proof that this is the beginning stages of someone replacing him, and that is going to be Gavin Newsom. There's no question about it. It's not Kamala. It's Gavin. We all know it. I don't know why people think it's Kamala. It's not going to be.
Well, I think the problem though is that the left is going to have a real issue if they leapfrog a black woman for a white male because of all the identity politics that they've been laying down for the past 10 years, 15 years. They're going to have an issue with that with their base.
Yeah, but there's no way. There's no way. I'm sorry. It's Gavin, and that's their great big hope.
Yeah.
And then so the other thing too, like, come on, can't we admit that the whole line about who's better at golf was absolutely, utterly ridiculous, and it was embarrassing. That was a terrible move by Trump. I know he baited him, and it actually worked because
I thought it was hilarious, personally.
Joe Biden has an 8 handicap, so. But the fact that he brought that up was, I just thought, come on. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves.
But the hilarious part was that Biden said that he had that handicap when he was VP, which is almost 10 years ago. And I think that we all understand that the Joe Biden today is not the Joe Biden of 10 years ago. I thought that. Now I could hear you. I don't really even care about golf personally, but I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah,
I love that kind of stuff. That was as off the cuff as we were going to get.
Yeah. Anyway, that was embarrassing to me. I just didn't like that. But thanks for all you guys do, and y'all have a great weekend.
Hey, appreciate you, George. Thanks so much. Let's go to Gary in Spring Hill. Gary, thanks for holding, man.
Oh, thank you. I'm in Springfield.
Oh, Springfield.
One, besides the fact it was such a train wreck and embarrassing, because the whole world got to watch it. But one, I think it's going to be Newsom and Kamala, because you make Newsom the VP and she gets to be president and see what they can garner out of that. But the other is, too, there's a serious danger here because our enemies know what we know, and they've got 4 months to do something. China, Taiwan, Russians pushing the envelope. Heck, just 3 days ago, Russian saboteurs in Berlin blew up the wrong factory, burned the wrong factory down. They went after a munitions plant in Berlin, Germany, and they got a parts plant. So, Putin, they got to grab for what they can grab. That's what's very dangerous right now.
No, you're absolutely right. Yep.
We don't have commander-in-chief.
Yep.
And these clowns surrounding him are incapable, and we don't have the general officership, leadership in the military to do anything. They're not equipped. Just Milley alone is a perfect example.
Yeah. Oh, he's focused on white rage. Yeah, he's focused on white rage.
That's it. So here's the other. And there's another problem. If I was Trump, I would not do a second debate, and I would just come out and say, I'm not participating in elderly abuse. And I will close with that.
Yeah, I appreciate the call, Gary. I saw the Babylon Bee headline was the best, and Trump put it on his Instagram. I reposted on mine at Chris Hand on air. He said, Trump indicted for murdering an elderly man during CNN debate. And that's what we all felt like happened. Jonathan on the road, you're next on Super Talk. Instant reaction, my friend.
Well, first of all, I got to say, too, I love your show.
Thank you.
Sorry I couldn't be at the thing last night. I'm sure it was a blast.
Oh, man,
and
it was.
Pretty much everybody.
We were rocking.
Go ahead.
We were rocking last night.
Yes, you were. I got to listen to just a little bit. We were at Vacation Bible School, helping the kids know Jesus, okay?
Then you were in the far more important place. I can guarantee that.
Well, absolutely. It might have been more fun to be with y'all, though. Anyhow, everybody's pretty much hit all around it. And the deal is I think the more I think about it, Brian, our evening talk show buddy Brian.
Yes, sir.
He's been talking about it all along. They've known that Mr. Biden was going to blow up somewhere along the way. They've got to have somebody this isn't a surprise to them. Just put it that way. This is no surprise. The quandary is and the big surprise to all of us will be kind of like Trump's VP. Who's it going to be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who's it going to be? You're absolutely right.
They have to know. They're not that stupid. I mean, I know they're a bit mentally handicapped, but they're not that stupid.
I'm with you. I'm with you, John, and I appreciate the call, man. And thank you for I know you're volunteering at that Vacation Bible School. I know you're not getting paid for that. And I have to tell you, that is far more important than anything that we're doing here, anything we're talking about. And I just want to give you kudos, man.
Well, it is for Jesus, man. That's the bottom line.
Amen.
It truly is.
Amen. That's the only thing that's going to fix the country. We can talk about leaders.
There you go.
We can talk about president. We can talk about Congress and Senate and yada, yada, yada. That's what's going to fix it. And it starts with changing the hearts and the minds of the youth and giving them a foundation. So I hats off to you, man. Big respect.
Got to love our neighbors and be the best people we can to them. And, be Jesus to whoever is in front of us. And boy, I just thank him for the chance for this witness, and thank you for that opportunity too, Chris.
Amen.
God bless.
Hey, I appreciate you. And remember, when anybody says, what would Jesus do? Flipping tables and chasing bankers with a whip is within the realm of possibilities. Robert in the Borough, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, buddy.
How we doing?
I'm doing good. I usually watch the debate with a couple of my friends that are liberals. We've been doing it for years, just kind of getting their different perspective. I don't want to be in an echo chamber of, just people that think like I do.
Yeah.
And one of them's one of the leaders of the Democrat Party in Tennessee, and we grew up together. And it was funny, before the debate started, he said, well, let's see if this goes ahead and ends this.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he was talking about Trump. We can get rid of Trump, Biden winning. I didn't say nothing. And at the end, after enough beers and Biden screwing up so bad, he said, well, he said, we've already got plans for Whitmore anyway.
Oh, yeah. Governor.
And that was, he said that, not meaning to say it, but he said it. And I looked at him, I said, really? And he said,
I've heard
somebody.
I've heard Whitmer's name thrown around. She's the governor of Michigan. Yeah. I don't see it, man. I think she is an absolute loser.
Yeah, she's a train wreck. But she's not as Michigan.
But she's not as smooth. She's not as smooth as the other ones. Like Gavin Newsom, we can say is a train wreck, but he's a used car salesman and he can fool people. I don't know if people are going to be fooled by the Lord Farquaad of Michigan.
How long do you have to go at her now?
Yeah, fair enough.
You've only got by the time that she gets it, you're going to have 2 months.
Fair enough.
60 days. You tell me you can't hide somebody for 60 days and make slick commercials?
I mean, they can hide people. That's one thing the Democrats specialize in. Yeah.
And it gives you Michigan.
Yep.
It puts Michigan back in the Democrat column. And
I will say though, I don't know.
It made more sense than anything I'd heard.
I don't know if that puts Michigan back in the Democrat column. I don't.
Man, she was just reelected. I mean, all the stupid stuff she's done, and she still got reelected afterwards.
I was just in Detroit, man. They hate her out there. They hate her.
Yeah. Democrats hate people, but they always reelect them, don't they?
Fair enough. Vote blue no matter who. That's what they do. Hey, appreciate the call, right. Rob. Appreciate the call. Mickey McMinnville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Mickey?
Hey, good afternoon, or good morning, actually. I just wanted to give you a little bit of I guess it's a traffic update, really. I just wanted to let everybody know I saw I was looking to my right as I was driving down the road, and sure enough, heading east, kind of pointed towards Washington, D.C., there's a lady riding a white stallion, blonde-headed lady. She's in a white pantsuit. It kind of looks like Hillary. I think I see her heading towards Washington right now. So y'all be safe. Watch out for the horses.
All right. She's one of the horsewomen of the apocalypse, if that comes true. Phil in the Borough, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Phil?
Hey, good morning. How you doing, Chris?
How we doing? Real quick, what you got?
I just had a couple quick points. I was watching last night, and 13 minutes in, and I looked at my watch, 13 minutes in, Biden made his first fumble, and the male commentator cut him off real quick before he could do much more.
Yep.
Did you notice that?
I listen, everybody's saying that the moderators were fair, and I think maybe they're fair in 2024 terms, but if we looked at this through the lens of 10 years, 15 years ago, they were absolutely on the side of Joe Biden. Like, without a shadow of a doubt. They covered for him quite a few times. And then there was one point, too, where Joe Biden said something. I'm drawing a blank on what he said, but then Trump was about to respond, and then they went, thank you, we'll be right back, and they went to commercial.
Yeah. And also, they called Trump a liar. Well, Biden told one of the biggest ones last night when he said that no soldiers ever died on his watch.
Yep. And that was fact-checked to high heaven. And they can call Trump a liar all they want, but there was only one candidate being fact-checked on CNN, of all places, after the debate, and that was Joe Biden.
One funny thing, my wife last night, I was in the bedroom watching, and she was in the living room, and she says, okay, 32 minutes in, I'm done.
she was probably smart.
One of the quick things, did you watch any of the Hannity thing when it was over?
Honestly, can't stand Hannity. I don't do Hannity.
Well, he's a homer, I know, and I can take him to a grain of salt. But it was Lindsey Graham that caught my eye, because when he was talking to Tim Scott about the faces that Lindsey Graham was making, I don't trust that guy.
No, I don't like Lindsey Graham either. I was waiting for you to finish to be like, I'm not a fan of Lindsey Graham either. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him, Phil.
But the look on his face. Oh, and one thing, tell Ken Weaver, don't be hating on Alabama now. We're coming to you.
All right, bet. I'll let him know. Appreciate you, Phil. It's 11:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand here. Your self-defense is your responsibility, but you don't have to learn and get informed on your own. And I got a place for you to try out if you need some training. My friends at the Glock store, and if you've ever visited the Glock store, well, then they're your friends too. If you haven't visited the Glock store, you really should, especially when it comes to the incomparable Shoot 270 indoor ranges. They don't have that lane range BS at the Glock store. No. They have private shooting rooms, and it's just you and an instructor in a private room. It's incredible. I learned more at my one Shoot 270 indoor range training session than all of my lane range training sessions put together. I can't wait to go back. I'm going to bring my wife, and if you haven't visited the Glock store, you really should, especially if you have any interest whatsoever in Glock handguns, Glock performance parts. There's a reason they call it the Glock store. They specialize in that, and if it has anything to do with the Glock, anything whatsoever, it's going to be on the shelf at the Glock store. And if it's not on the shelf, it's about to be. It's in the back, and they're going to bring it out real soon because they get all the latest stuff. When it comes to those performance parts for your own Glock, go to the source, the Glock store. They'll install your performance parts for free while you wait. I know. Where else do they do that? Only at the Glock store, and then you can train right there as well. I've been to lots of other gun stores, a lot of them with indoor ranges, but once I found the Glock store, I knew I found my favorite place to buy and to train, especially to train. I can't tell you enough how important it is for you to train. And if you're going to do it at the Glock store. The Glock store is on Air Lane Drive, just off Elm Hill Pike and Briley Parkway. Online at Glockstore.com. It's the Glock store, minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Got 3 SCOTUS decisions that have come down today. One of them could have been Jan 6 cases, including the biggest one at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. It's 11:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We've been talking a lot about how bad Joe Biden was yesterday, but I don't want to get away from how good Donald Trump did. And I think that a lot of the headlines are going to say Biden was terrible, but we're ignoring the fact that Trump was really on point. He was on message. He was disciplined. He was smooth. And he obliterated Joe Biden every opportunity he had.
He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number of terrorists coming into our country right now, all terrorists, all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere. All over the world, they're pouring in. And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for president. Brandon, just speak to him. But look, we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming up in caravans.
President Trump. President Biden?
The only terrorist who's done anything crossing the border is one who came along and killed 3, under his administration, killed an al-Qaeda person come in and his administration, killed 3 American soldiers.
Biden is terrible. But Trump is so good there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to bury the lead that Trump did excellent at the debate. Trump did excellent last night. He really did. Was Biden awful? Yes. Trump was on fire.
Trump. So I've dealt with politicians all my life. I've been on this side of the equation for the last 8 years. I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. He lies. I've never seen it. He could look you in the face about so many other things, too. And we mentioned the laptop. We mentioned Russia, Ukraine. Everything he does is a lie. It's misinformation and disinformation.
I love how he takes the left's words and he uses them against them. I love how he brings up the hoaxes of the past and reiterates that they're lies. Trump was on point last night. We're going to get to more of your calls next. Don, James, Bing, Richard, Mike, Don. I mean, we've had full phone lines all day because you guys are the best. More of your calls next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. And the U.S. Supreme Court today ruling in favor of a former Pennsylvania police officer charged for his alleged participation in the U.S. Capitol attack Jan 6, saying a felony obstruction charge was improperly applied in his case. At issue was whether a 2002 law connected to the Enron scandal to prevent the destruction of evidence and financial crimes could be used against alleged participants, including former President Trump. And a huge ruling against the NFL. The league ordered to pay billions of dollars over its Sunday ticket subscription service. Here's DeMarco Morgan.
That issue is the league's Sunday ticket service, which offers people the chance to watch games that they are not broadcasting in their market on free network TV. Now, the lawsuit argues that the league violated antitrust laws by offering the package at an inflated price, and it restricted competition by only offering it on the satellite service DirecTV.
The NFL says it'll fight the decision, and that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate. This shouldn't be a debate. He is the worst president. He just said about me because I said it. But look, he's the worst president in the history of our country.
That's Donald Trump last night roasting Joe Biden at the debate. Roasting him. I don't think that Joe Biden's poor performance should overshadow how good Donald Trump was. Because he was. Trump was great. That was peak Trump. Excellent Trump. He countered every lie that Joe Biden threw at him. He countered every hoax that Joe Biden rehashed. He avoided every bait and trap set for him by the moderators. He was fantastic. A lot of the narrative today is going to be how bad Joe Biden was. And, rightfully so. Rightfully so. But Trump was on point. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN 1137. I'm Chris Hand. Find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. I'm going through my Twitter now. And one of the things I love about this show and you guys being a part of it is the crowdsourcing, whether it's on the text line or whether it's on my Twitter account at Chris Hand on air or the phone lines. Like we're absolutely smarter together, and there's only so much research and prep I can do. And I had a guy on Twitter just send me this 5 minutes ago, Dan. This is, and just so everybody knows, you ever want to get me something, DM me, shoot it to me on Twitter. I'm gonna see it. And Daniel sent me this thing, and it's a tweet from Doug Cass. And if you're unfamiliar with Doug Cass, he's a big hedge fund manager. He's a money guy, and he's big in these liberal circles. And Doug Cass tweeted out earlier this morning, take it with a grain of salt, but he says, what I'm hearing regarding Joe Biden, Ron Klain and Barack Obama are having a sit down with the president today. Jill Biden is insistent that Joe runs. That checks out. Kamala Harris is furious that she's not being considered as a replacement. That also would check out. Whitmer and Newsom are. Then he says, interestingly, my neighbor in East Hampton is hosting the Bidens tomorrow. It will be an important tell if the fundraiser is canceled. There's going to be a lot of speculation. There's going to be a lot of ideas being thrown around. Take it with a grain of salt. But this kind of goes in line with what a lot of people are thinking. Joe is going to be asked to step down. Jill Biden is not going to let that happen. Kamala Harris wants to be the guy. She wants to be the man. And the Democrats understand that that's just as much of a losing proposition as it is having Joe Biden in office. But I still want to get your instant reaction on the debate. 615-737-9986. Don in Christiana wants to talk about Whitmer. What's up, Don?
Hey, Chris. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. I'm originally from Michigan, and all my family is up in Michigan. I've been down here for about 20 years, but we keep our eyes and ears on what's going on up there. Whitmer, on the abortion issue, after she failed all her promises on the roads and everything else. In fact, that was one of the things she ran on, was that we're going to get it right this time. We're going to do the roads, even though the last time she said she was going to do the roads and didn't. They're horrible.
Yeah. Oh, dude, when I first moved, so I lived in Detroit for a couple of years. I lived in the suburbs out there. My first daughter, Kennedy, was born in Detroit. One of the first introductions that I had to Michigan was, I'm a local news junkie, so I always watch the local news and kind of see what's going on. And I remember it was like, potholes are swallowing cars on 96. And there's like, I remember like it was yesterday, that 96 is like a main highway in Michigan, if you're not familiar. Yeah. I know you are. But there's like 30 cars on the side of the road because they've been, their tires have been wrecked by this pothole. Like that's been a problem in Michigan for decades.
Yeah. And it's actually been a lot worse since she's been in office. And it's like, how can it get worse? And it did. But the thing is that there's just so many people that are so furious and frustrated with the fact that they voted for her. And even like I got a friend that's kind of high up in the UAW. I was paramedic in Detroit for a long time, and the unions out there, they're all like every other union, all Democrats. But even the UAW in that are just they're leaving the Democrats, and they're furious with Whitmer.
Well,
I mean,
even the president, the president of the UAW, I forget his name off the top of my head, but I remember his interview because he came out and endorsed Joe Biden a few months back, and he's like, listen, the guys are going to vote for Trump probably. It's like,
yeah.
Exactly. I don't see Whitmer putting Michigan back in play. Do you?
No. Oh, Gretchen is, oh man, she's a hot mess.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that she's not the best choice. And she's not as smooth as a Gavin Newsom. You can make an argument that Gavin Newsom's ruined California more than Whitmer's ruined Michigan, but you can't make the argument that Whitmer can sell herself better than Newsom.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate your call, Don. Thanks so much. Let's go to another Don, this time in Gallatin. Don, what's your instant reaction on the debate?
Hey, good morning, Chris. Two areas of housekeeping. It was great to meet you last night. Also, did you buy Dan that shirt that he was wearing last night?
No. Dan didn't wear the shirt that I got him.
Okay, that was a nice shirt. Even he looked good in that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Dan looked sharp last night, guys.
Absolutely. So, all of that being said, this analysis you may play. I don't know, but he was as disciplined as Pence. He did a great job of pausing, not going ape crap.
Yep.
And then readdressing what he didn't get done in the next round.
Yeah.
He was extremely disciplined. He wasn't allowing himself to get aggravated. But I want to make one more point. I've been in the elder care segment since the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see this man, it does break my heart. I mean, I know he's a scoundrel when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
And I know the reason they promoted him or pushed him up was because he was dispensable. I mean, the guy failed how many times coming up?
Mm-hmm.
They fragged him how many times? But how can you be his wife?
Yeah.
And if you saw that Waffle House gig, she looked like a desperate person. She had it was almost like wrestling,
Yep.
when she was screaming Trump's a liar. Oh my gosh, lady.
She is,
and you have a PhD in something, for crying out loud.
Honestly, I make no bones about it. She is the most evil woman in America. She can't possibly love this man. And maybe it's better to say she loves power more than she loves this man.
Exactly. I mean, she was groomed at 14 to be his wife. Let's be honest about that. She was the babysitter. The pictures are out there. The documentation is out there. But now her voice grates me worse than Hillary Clinton. That's hard to do.
Yeah, you're right. Here, give me some audio, Mason. This is Joe Biden last night. And Joe, you did so good.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Why?
It's so weird because only Joe was being fact-checked on CNN last night.
Yep. He looked like a guy looking for his juice box. Where's my ice cream?
And we have to be honest. Joe's got single-digit years left.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she bring him to the beach house?
It's terribly sad. I mean, and that's the epitome of a dysfunctional family structure, if you've ever seen it.
Oh my gosh.
But the reason they're weekend at burying him is because he is dispensable. He's been the useful dupe his whole career.
Yep.
And this is a sad ending for anyone. I can't. It's hard for me to stand by and see somebody being paraded out when you know that their cognitive function is it's not declining, it's bottoming out. And whatever they're doing to try to pump him up. And you could see early on his speech patterns changed like within the first 45 minutes. It was the very quick cadence, and then it slowed down.
Yep.
And Trump was masterful. Nobody knows what you just said there, Joe.
Yeah.
You know,
it was so smooth.
And he was disciplined in that because I think Trump did show maybe just a tad of empathy. It's like, oh my gosh, this is worse than we thought. Yeah. But shame on the Democrats. Shame on the Democrats for putting this charade on. They allowed him to stay in his basement. We knew what a scoundrel this guy was from day one.
Yep.
They knew back in the 1980s when he tried to run what a scoundrel he was. But he was the useful idiot. And if anybody in that, remember Romney's famous 3 to 6%, can trust the Democratic Party, there's something wrong.
You're absolutely
there's something
right.
wrong. And that 33% who thinks he won, what are you smoking, dude?
Honestly, yeah, that's Don's referencing the CNN poll after the debate. 67% said Trump won, 33% said Biden won. Like, oh, keep drinking your blue Kool-Aid.
Yep.
Unbelievable, Don. It was
sad state of affairs. Thanks.
You're absolutely right, Don. It was great meeting you last night, man. You're a stand-up guy.
All right, take care, buddy.
Hey, appreciate you. 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. If you're still on the line, we are running out of time. I do have time for one more call, real quick. Mike in the borough, your instant reaction on the debate.
I wanted to be with you, but I was at the hospital with my mother-in-law getting tested for her heart valve. But anyway, hey, man.
Then you were exactly where you needed to be. You were exactly where you needed to be.
Yeah, it was pitiful is what I think, you know. And just, man, wow, can you believe? Oh, but the 33%. Okay, I spoke to someone today. Now, he's a gay guy, about 30-something years old, which I don't know if that throws him in bracket or not. But anyway, he says that Biden kept telling everybody what his plans were. That's what he kept doing. And Trump kept just bringing up this and bringing up that. Where did he see that?
Yeah, did he watch the same debate we watched?
I don't guess, but that came out of his mouth this morning.
Jeez.
I thought I'd tell you about that. There's one of the 33%.
Yeah, honestly, I appreciate the call, Mike. Yeah, it was a doozy of a debate. We're going to have more reaction and analysis all day long here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm going to check in with Murphy next, see what we got going on the Murphy Show. Maybe Marsha Blackburn will make an appearance. Maybe. But hey, I do want to remind you, politics is fake. All this stuff is fake. What's important is you and your family and your friends. So as you go out over the weekend, like, have fun and enjoy yourself and really appreciate what you have in your life. That's really what matters. This stuff is fun. This stuff is entertaining. But that family that you have is going to be way more important than all of this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm unplugging. And I'm going to hang out with my kids. So have a great weekend. We'll check in with Murphy next. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I do everything from scrubbing cages to asking people for donations to answering the phones and helping facilitate getting animals to the rehab. I'm there on the weekends, up there taking care of animals with the team.
You got a great team there. It's a small team, but a great team that works together. And
I started about 20 years ago. My dear friend Carol Burgess founded Harmony in Fairview.
Okay.
And we decided to reopen it in West Nashville. And we are rocking along. Lots of animals. One of the primary calls that we get are, I found a bird, it's on the ground, what do I do? And in most situations, you should let it alone unless there's an imminent danger to that animal, because the parents are helping it and feeding it, and it just needs a couple of scary days on the ground until it gets back up into flight. What about bunnies, Melody? Can we give advice about bunnies?
The bunnies, they're just the sweetest, most innocent creatures, and we just see the worst things happen to them. Cats, dogs, lawnmowers, weed whackers.
In most cases, if the animals aren't injured, if you can put the rabbits back, that's always better to be with the mother rabbit than to come to us.
All the storms that have been coming through and just destroying nests, and a lot of babies will be found on the ground. Re-nesting is possible and preferable.
You play the video calls and you put the baby near where they found it, and the mama will actually come down and pick it up and then bring it back.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that cool?
Nice.
11:56 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand in studio with Matt Murphy. What's up?
Hello, everyone.
You do anything
How's
last
everybody
night?
going?
You do anything?
I don't want to destroy I have this opening line for the show, and I don't want to use it on the Chris Hand show and burn it for the Matt Murphy show, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to do it for you.
Is it going to be a banger?
Anybody see anything good on TV lately? That's my line.
That's good.
I was up until 2:30, almost 2:30 in the morning, watching leftists on my television whine and cry and gnash their teeth and explain how Donald Trump didn't do that great either.
If you are a salt miner, last night was a rush.
It's so good.
The mining of salt was great.
The great thing was by the time about 2 o'clock rolled around, they had figured it out. They had figured out the angle. And the angle was, well, sure, Joe Biden didn't do well, but Donald Trump lies.
Yep.
That's the angle.
Well, Joe had a cold.
Joe had a cold. Come on, man. Guy's older. He was under the weather. You know, you understand. I mean, he only had 7.5, 8, 9 days to prepare. Come on. Got a country to not run.
How on earth do you prepare for that long? And you bring up the Charlottesville hoax when the neckbeards at Snopes debunked it weeks ago.
And Trump couldn't remember the name, but he had it. He knew. I mean, it's I don't know. I guess it's all they've got. I guess, or maybe he just reverts to things that his mind can dredge up. You know, we're told with people who have dementia and folks listening who have had family members sadly go through this, that you can't remember what happened this morning, but you can remember what happened 20 years ago. And I think that's part of what was going on last night.
Yeah.
Is that he couldn't remember what they had planned on during debate prep, but so grab something. Oh, Charlottesville.
He went to 2020 debate prep.
Right. I mean, it was amazing. I do want to remind folks, and we'll talk about this today, that none of this changes anything with regard to the manner in which the political left wants to reshape the country into a socialist nation. And that is what I think the best way that we move forward as a country to get our nation back is for Joe Biden to be the candidate. But I don't know how that happens for the Democrats.
But he would have to step down. He would have to. Or they would 25th Amendment him and Kamala gets the chair. Kamala can't beat Trump either. And if they go for the 25th Amendment, I hope the GOP goes, we're going to pass.
You know, I'm wondering, I want to get into brokered convention too. I mean, there's some subplots that we can get into, but we're going to wallow in the moment for the better part of the show today.
Let's enjoy it.
I mean, tell you what. Thank you, Joe Biden, for show prepping my show today.
Yeah, he did the same thing for me.
Did he?
It's actually probably the best thing he's done for me since he's been in office was the debate last night.
So we'll obviously we will discuss, take your reaction. We'll have a good time.
All right, Matt Murphy's in next. I'm out. I'm disconnecting for the weekend. After Murphy and Wilson, I suggest you do the same. Hang out with your family, have fun, and we'll see you on Monday. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.